Now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show with your host, Walil Archer. I'm a special guest today. I have Kimberly Cloud. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you, Wally?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome back to my show.
Thank you. It feels good to be back.
Thank you. Thank you. So today we're going to start with talking about your new show, the
Yeah.
Kimberly Cloud Show, LLC. So let the listeners know about your show.
Well, pretty much my show consists of the past, present, and future. I interview people about that. And I basically do what I do is a real, give them my audience, not my audience, but I give my clients the real, I give my clients the raw footage, and I try to learn about what a person is going through. I like to analyze them and see, what they have been through, what challenges and how they overcame it or still struggling, but overcome a little bit their challenges. And it feels good to interview people, every day about, or every other day about, what their strengths are and weaknesses. Sometimes they get out and they start just automatically talking about the negative symptoms, or sometimes they just talk about their work and dive into just work. But the Kimberly Cloud Show is geared towards helping listeners overcome not only mental health challenges, but overcome so many other things that could be like problems at home, like anything. And I just love my audience. I love my the people, my guests, the people that I interview. And I hope that I met one of the people that I interviewed, and her name was Brittany. And I moved to Salt Lake City, and I met her and I interviewed her, and it felt really fulfilling to see somebody, if only one, that really appreciated me interviewing them. And she was a part of the first roundtable talk show. So I've been doing this for roughly 4 years, and I enjoy it. I will say that on live, well, recorded film, that I plan on going Democrat. I just had to say that. So,
Okay. Now, what was the inspiration behind starting your show?
well, it first started because I had genuinely Michelle wigs. I created my own wigs, and I sat up there and not only created my own wigs, but um, bought wigs from a third party vendor. And so as that was growing, I started wanting to do short reels. And then it started off with me playing my cello, which I can't play like that, but I still wanted to play. But, you know, then I became homeless. And then I started filming as a documentary. And I said to myself, you know what? I want to break myself out the habit of my mental instabilities and my mental health issues and start interviewing people, because my situation is not like everyone else's situation. Everybody is different. And so I said, let me start interviewing people. And then I started to go into interviewing people, and it was hard. It was hard. People didn't believe that this is a show I can do. So I had hangups, I had a first roundtable talk show for the Ukraine crisis. And, I started realizing that, this is something I that fulfills me. So that is why I decided to do the Kimberly Cloud Show.
Okay. So what was the steps that you took when you first got started? What was the first thing you started with getting started?
Well, the first thing I did was I got a license. I sat up there. Not only did I get a license, I got registered with the state, and I started promoting my hair business through the Kimberly Cloud Show, and it's like the days are like meshed together, but I don't know which one came first. But I once I started to get the show up and running, like it took everything. Like finding StreamYard, I had to find StreamYard on my own. I had to find all, like Facebook and Instagram was easy, but StreamYard, where you can house 8 different platforms, which I have, is very hard to do. You know, everybody don't want to pay for a subscription. So, but I just got it together one day at a time. I just sat up there and started promoting my Genuinely Michelle wigs. I had t-shirts and, you know, all by myself, mind you, while homeless, and I documented everything, and I had so many challenges, but putting StreamYard and putting places like, I just got acquainted with Spotify, which is a game changer, and putting Twitch together with LinkedIn, and all of them have different ratings at what they tolerate on their page. I done said some messed up stuff, on my page, and LinkedIn was there and never censored me. But you got big tech who censored me. But to get to the point, I learned over the years what I can do and what I can't do and what I shouldn't do.
Okay. So what days do your show broadcast?
Every day, between the hours, I don't want to pick a actual hour, but it's always between the hours of 11 and possibly 8 o'clock at night. I do a show, and I do it on various things. Not only do I interview people, but I do it on schoolwork. I do it on politics. This is what is getting me to want to promote myself. Like, I ran for state senate the last time you and me talked, and I got 12,000 votes, which I know is not a lot to some, but promoting yourself from your house and, getting in a paper is a huge step at, getting what you need.
Okay. And then where did they go to tune into the show?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitch, Rumble, TikTok, YouNow. Let me make sure I got everything because I want to be sure. Not only that, but I got Twitter and YouTube. And so Facebook is the Kimberly Cloud Show 39 at yahoo.com. I mean, the 39 at facebook.com. And the rest, LinkedIn is the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. Instagram is the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. Most of them is the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. And if I get on my major platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, it's usually the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. I have like so many, and some I couldn't put the whole title. So LinkedIn is actually the Kimberly Cloud Show. And X is KCS Experience 84. And so I have so many of them, it's hard to remember.
Understandable. And how do you go about selecting your guests?
Well, I decided that I wanted to do all walks of life, from people living, like I've interviewed people in poverty, and I've interviewed millionaires. Now I'm trying to get the billionaires just, for the portfolio purposes, but I've interviewed millionaires, and 500K people and all that. And I look at their bios, and if they have a story to tell, then I'm willing to talk about it. I want to make them look good. I'm just here as a body as a vessel to tell your story. I'm not here to try to make myself look good, and so I want to make you with precise and very intriguing questions tell that story, for you. And that's what I do.
Okay. So how does someone contact you to be a guest on the show, or are you accepting guests on your show?
Well, you can contact me at the Kimberly Cloud Show at yahoo.com. And you can send your bio or picture. You can find me on Matchmaker FM. I just got with AirGig. I got with Fiverr. What I am doing is inquire about the pricing, though. I have partially, I'm phasing out and closing out the free doors for prices, because I feel like I can put you on Spotify, I can put you, Apple Podcasts, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, DC TV in DC. I can place you in places that normal people can't place you, and so I just feel like my work says it for itself. I'm not perfect. I do slip and mess up, but I make sure I make you look good. Your product is worth the amount. So if you want to know how to inquire, and go ahead and contact me when the time is right. And when Wally asks me the next question, I'll go ahead and respond.
Okay. And what do you want the audience to take away from listening to your show?
I want them to grow. That's it. I just want them to grow, and I want them to learn something. I want them to be curious and creative. I really want nothing but them to learn about mental health, because like I said, I suffer from mental health, and that is something serious to me. I want them to learn about challenges. You're not alone at facing challenges. I want them to learn about perseverance. The people that I had on the diverse people I had on my show of perseverance and determination. I want them to learn about me, that I'm just a normal person. I'm goofy, I'm bubbly, and I still decided to run, and I'm still going to try to run again and see if I could get more votes. I want to promote myself. This is my creative platform. I am a creator of my platform, and I just want to let them grow and let them learn from every single angle that every person that comes on has to give to my audience. I want them to learn.
Okay. And then you have a second part of the interview that you want to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. Share with the listeners.
So I wanted to talk about that, but I actually wanted to talk about mental health.
Okay.
If we can talk about that, because I want the audience to know how serious it is.
Okay, that's fine. With mental health, what would you say some of the symptoms are?
Some of the symptoms are second guessing yourself, and it comes in like a variety of ways, where you could have symptoms, manic symptoms. You can have it can cause you to not be able to concentrate. It can cause you to not be able to think, maybe sometimes with other people, you hear voices, maybe with sometimes other people, you see hallucinations, but me, most likely, I suffer, to get off of everybody else, I suffer from mental health issues where I have sometimes manic episodes where sometimes like grandiose, type things. But on the other hand, I see my grandiose thinking as an opportunity because, like I said before, I didn't put myself on a ballot, but I ran. I was going to run for president of the United States. I know that sounds far-fetched and pretty weirded out the audience, but the reason why I wanted to do that was to open the door for the rest of the African American, the young youth that see that watches my show, that see that I am, I have mental health issues. I'm a veteran, and it's okay. You can do it. You can do whatever you want at any time if you put your mind to it, to see how far you can go. You may not win it, but will you achieve your ambitions? And that is yes. And that's why I keep running, for a seat, because I feel like, I want to grow. And this mental health thing has caused, me to grow. I may have mental health, but I grow from that mental health, sort of like Damon John. I got to speak to him for 3 minutes before. So that was an amazing experience too.
At what age did you start experiencing mental health issues?
Probably when my mother passed. I want to say most likely when my mother passed. She was 42. She suffered from colon cancer and she was in her 4th stage and died. And I came in 5 minutes after she passed away and I just fell to the ground. The doctor was like, she passed away. And then I just was on a roller coaster ride, drugs became a part of my main habit. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about marijuana. I'm talking about the hardcore drugs became a habit. And before that, before I even used drugs, my dad was on drugs. So, I was always curious about drugs, but drugs was my downfall. I wish that I'm glad actually. I'm glad that I went through it because at least I know what's out there and there's nothing out there for me. And I took that door and locked it away with a key and threw away the key and melted it. And mental health is something that I noticed at 15 pretty much.
At 15?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your first symptom, if you remember?
Depression. It started off with depression. I had that roller coaster ride, but what happened was when I moved up north, I sat up there and went to school and I was on a delayed entry program. And then after I had my first child, it came back, the postpartum depression instead of just depression. It came back. And then, they were like, get on XYZ medication. So I didn't take the medication though. And I thought I could beat this using drugs without no one's support by myself. And it did not happen that way.
Okay. And what was the first treatment you experienced?
The first treatment, okay, so I was Zoloft.
Okay. Okay, that was the medication. So was you hospitalized first or did you go to outpatient and then they prescribed medication? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say I have suffered where I was inpatient before, but I will say that, when I was at the VA hospital, I can tell you the story behind that, but we don't have enough time. So I'll put it to you like this. When I know my mental health isn't a problem, I get really irritated when someone challenges my mental health as a problem. And I like, if I'm being nice and being like a person of, politeness and fairness, I don't want somebody to use my chart, my medical chart against me. I want them to actually come in this like fair. So yeah.
Okay. So, what advice would you give to someone that's going through mental illness or is dealing with mental illness?
I would like to talk to those first who don't have any resources. Talk to your doctors. Talk to your doctors. You know, even if it's not the perfect relationship, talk to your doctors. Talk, get a cat, get a dog, you know, and then for those all together, everybody as a whole who's suffering, you know, the advice I would have to give for you is to continue to strive to see what makes you happy. Find out what makes you happy. You know, don't rely on everything and everyone to make you happy. Find find God, the God within your life that you want to be affiliated with. You know, if God of your understanding bring you joy, happiness, and prosperity, and you see miracles that happen, then just continue to be yourself, man. And if your friends isn't giving you that 50-50 pull, then leave the relationship. It's okay to start over with new friends. You know, some people can gravitate and walk in a room and people gravitate towards them. Other people, you have to work at friendship. So do that, and then make sure you take your medication. Make sure you take your medication. And sometimes it's a trial and error, you know, where you take one medication and you be like, oh my God, this has me feeling like this. You have to switch and talk to your doctor and be active in your mental health. You can't not be active in your mental health because, to be quite honest, the Black race, you know, we have it worse because we're a product of our environment. So, you know, we sometimes suffer more than, you know, upper class, you know, even though they get stressed out too. But I'm talking to my race because I've lived in a ghetto and I know what it's like to suffer from stressful events that causes you to have mental health issues. So do everything that I say and make sure you stay focused with write in a journal. And that's all I have.
Okay. And as we begin to wrap up, any final thoughts or closing remarks?
Well, I just wanted to tell your audience that I appreciate you guys listening to this to the end. You know, I appreciate my audience from looking at my behind the scenes video. I appreciate you, Wally, for helping me with this journey, and I hope to continue to do good business with you.
Sounds good. And one more time, where can they find you at on social media?
Facebook and Instagram, and which one? Facebook and Instagram at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39, Rumble, the Kimberly Cloud 84, and LinkedIn, the Kimberly Cloud Show, and that is it.
Okay. Well, Kimberly, I'd like to thank you for doing the show today.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer on Downtown Hott Radio. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Never waste my time. You are